Football Fridays overtime powered by state champs. Keats, Warren, take it away. My goodness, what a ball game.
All right, Evan, spectacular job there in Clarkston. Coming up tonight on the OT, we've got highlights from every division across the state of Michigan. We'll show you who is playing who next week with a trip to Ford Field on the line. Some terrific matchups ahead.
Yeah, we're also going to head back to Clarkston to get full reactions from this unbelievable finish. All that and much more coming up on Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champ.
If you're looking This is high school football finals overtime powered by State Champs. It's presented to you by Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers. What a finish in Clarkston tonight.
This is the season. Kozak, end zone! Yes! Stephen Kozak, the throw of a lifetime!
To those of us who are watching here in the studio, to you watching at home, everybody said the same thing in unison. Wow. What a finish. Clarkston passed Rochester Adams 36-33 on literally a last-second touchdown.
Yeah.
All that was at stake tonight was a chance to get to the Final Four, to keep dancing, to keep practicing, to keep dreaming. Welcome to Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs. I'm John Keating of Bally Sports, along with the State Champs guru, Lauren Plant.
You know, John, I'm just a guy who loves high school football, but, you know, remarkably, all that talcum powder does wonders for the skin.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
very
a good
smooth.
tip.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a good
The
tip.
sweat goes away. But, you know, this is such a time of year. Incredible matchups across every division. We had perennial powerhouses taking care of business. Cinderella stories continue. So why don't we go no huddle, shall we? All right. How about these kids from Dexter? Reeves, Taylor, and Cole Cabana. They would connect for 2 touchdowns in the first quarter alone. This one for 49 yards as the Dreadnoughts would down the visiting Chemics by a final score of 42-7. More from this one later on in the program.
All right, before we get to more highlights, let's get you right back to Clarkston. Again, 36-33 the final on a last-second touchdown pass from Stephen Kozak to Desmond Stevens. Stevens is standing by with our Natalie Kerwin in Clarkston. Natalie.
Desmond Stevens, 10 seconds on the line. You guys are down by 5. What do you see on that last play? Well, Coach told me in the huddle he's going to give me a shot, so we had the match that we wanted, and then they gave me a good ball, and I made a play. Yep.
Steven Kozak, brand new starting quarterback today.
Yep.
How would you assess his performance, especially on that game-winning touchdown of yours?
Hey, it was a little slow. People started to doubt him, but he picked it up, and big-time players make big-time plays, you know? Yep.
You were a guy with 3 big-time plays today. One as a return man, one as a quarterback, and one as a receiver. How did you have that kind of performance?
I don't know, man. Our coaches are great at game planning, putting great players where they're supposed to be, and they put me where I was supposed to be, and I made the play.
Desmond, you're a regional title winner. How's that sound?
It sounds great. Hey, we're going all the way. All the way. It's all the way up from here. Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Over to you guys in the studio.
All right, Natalie, just imagine, the scenario at play there. You find out that your starting quarterback isn't going to be starting in the biggest game that you have played all year. Here comes the kid who has played enough, Steven Kozak, but he comes up with that play when everything is on the line. I mean, it's goosebump stuff, and it's why we love high school football.
Rochester Adams comes out of the gate. Parker Pico just imposing his will. Clarkston just doesn't back down. Again, 2 Mr. Football candidates. Ethan Clark had an incredible game. We thought he might run it in at there at the end. But again, this is what high school is all about, just these memories that are created in moments like these kids won't forget it. This is this generation's Clarkston Wolves, and we're going to see how far.
We expected that Ethan Clark was going to be the hero because he was getting the ball time after time after time down the field. Came the Wolves, and they were in a position where they had to throw. Everybody knew that they had to throw. And Kozak, the play before, trips over his offensive lineman. You think he's absolutely crushed, and then lost a rainbow that is hauled in for the game and the season.
And we don't credit the big men enough. Great line play from Clarkston today, protecting that quarterback, giving him opportunity to make that pass at the end of the game. Just awesome football all the way around, exactly what you would expect in a regional final. Let's check out some game profiles.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see what's been happening elsewhere around the state. We had some good ones. We have Goodrich with big winners tonight, 40-20 over Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Birmingham Groves defeats Livonia Franklin Division II. That is an upset any way you slice it. 32-25 the final in that one. In Grand Rapids, West Catholic dethrones the defending state champs Lansing Catholic, 37-7 the final in Division 6.
All right, highlights coming up from those games. More of the roster of highlights you'll see tonight over the course of the next hour. Riverview putting their perfect season on the line against Divine Child tonight and winning by 10. Lawton, the state finalist last year, playing against 8-time champion Jackson Lumen Christie, and that was an absolute squeaker. You see the final between Sterling Heights Parkway and Everest, 30-6 in Everest's favor, and it was Frankenmuth big over Flint Hamity. Those highlights ahead as the OT rolls on this Friday night. All right, let's get things started in Division I. The Cass Tech Technicians were not having one of their better regular season. The Techs had only 4 wins in their first 7 games. However, since then, they have rattled off wins against Detroit Martin Luther King, Brother Rice, West Bloomfield, and Southfield A&T. The challenge to keep going was to get through or around or past a Macomb, Dakota team that came in a perfect 11-0. Let's get you right into the matchup now. No time showing. They would waste no time showing they're here to play. It was Cass with a 60-yard run from senior running back Sean Hodges, who dodges all of Dakota's defenders to get Cass Tech on the board early, 7-0 at that point. Just a few minutes would tick by before Macomb, Dakota's Joe Kasiewicz would answer with his own 60-yard rumble, and he would eventually muscle it in for the touchdown on the next play to tie it at 7 at the end of the first quarter. To the second, Dakota at the 15-yard line. Ethan Hamby finds Kasiewicz again in the corner of the end zone. Dakota up on Cass Tech 14-7 at the half. To the third quarter we go now. Cass Tech at the 20-yard line. Quarterback was Sean Mumfield with a handoff to Hodges. His second touchdown of the night. Great running there. Cass Tech ties it up at 14. Each team would add a touchdown to even the score at 21 in the fourth. Mumfield again. He will fake the handoff. He'll keep it, run it in himself, giving Cass Tech the lead 28-21. Tech would eventually add a pick 6 for insurance, and they went on to defeat Dakota by a 35-21 final.
We've been a second-half team right now. It's one of the things we really stressed on last year. We really failed in the second half at the tail end of last year, so we really been relentless in terms of our work ethic and stuff. We practice, we go late, and we go hard in the last 15 minutes of practice just to make certain that we have the stamina to finish games.
We always knew we had better talent, so we just got to show it and exploit it. I know in the beginning of the season it didn't look like it, but now we put together. Like, we're a team now, and I don't think nobody can stop us.
Dakota's first loss of the season comes with a chance to go to the state semis, but their season is over. So you see the top of the bracket in Division I. There are regions 1 and 2. Caledonia winning with a win over Rockford tonight. Grand Ledge getting past Holt. Clarkston with that win you saw here on Bally Sports Detroit over Rochester Adams, going on to advance. It is Caledonia and Grand Ledge who will play tomorrow to advance to the semi, and Clarkston will await. Now to the bottom of the bracket, Divisions 3 and 4, and it'll be Belleville against Detroit Catholic Central. That game is tomorrow as well for the right to meet Cass Tech, who found their way past Macomb, Dakota in a wild game at Dakota tonight. With the Cass Tech and Dakota game going final, we can now tell you that Tech will take on the winner of the matchup tomorrow between Belleville and Catholic Central. That one greatly anticipated. The two winners meeting next Friday night at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. in state semifinal action.
All right, well, let's move to Division III, where Brother Rice entered the postseason with a 3-5 record. Strength of schedule got them in, and they found their footing. Walled Lake Western was averaging 40 points a game. The Rice Warriors held the other Warriors to 22 and won that game. It's been nearly a decade since Brother Rice has won a regional. Now a date with the defending champs, Detroit Martin Luther King. The Crusaders cruised past Allen Park, and the defending Mr. Football, the 5-star Oregon commit Dante Moore, is playing like it. Home field for the Crusaders and a brand new field to boot. So this, a rematch of the 2011 and the 2013 state semifinals. Rice won both of those matchups en route to a state championship three-peat. Could this version of the Warriors rise up and take down Dante? First quarter action. MLK's Moore looks left for his man Jameel Croft, and the ball comes loose. Recovered by senior defensive back Ben Eck. Brother Rice takes possession of the ball. They took advantage. Guess who's back for Rice? The Maryland commit, Nolan Ray. He gone. Brother Rice would fail to convert the extra point, so it's 6-0 Warriors. Wouldn't take long for the Crusaders to march back down the field. This touchdown courtesy Sterling Anderson Jr. King up 7-6 in the first. But the Warriors would find their way back on the scoreboard courtesy of a pair of field goals. So we're going to take it to the second half. King mixing it up. Kevon Matthews lines up in the Wildcat, slings to Jamar Davis. This is 6. Crusaders go for 2. Dante Moore fakes the handoff, pushing them ahead 15-12 into the fourth. The defending Mr. Football doing what he does. Moore on the run, brushing by the Warrior defense, 39-yard touchdown. And John, I think right here, he's headed home. Crusaders back in the state semifinals, and state champs own Sydney Carriel had a very special guest that she caught up with after the game.
Coach, man, this was a gritty game out there tonight, and your guys got it done. How proud are you of this group?
Really proud, really proud. I knew this was going to be a tough game. I knew they were going to be well coached and prepared, and I just wanted them to really believe in that, and I think they did. And I just love the effort that they displayed today.
A very close game all throughout, and what you just said in the huddle, resilience.
Yep.
How did you guys get it done towards the end of the game?
We just kept pushing. We continued to believe in ourselves, believe in our ability, and just we didn't quit. You just can't break against teams. And in this environment, in the playoffs, it's about surviving, and you got to do whatever it takes to adjust to whatever situations come about and moving on.
So who will King meet in a Division III semifinal next week? The Mason Bulldogs are off to their first 11-0 start in history. and they were looking to make it to the semifinals for the second straight year. Standing in their way, the Trenton Trojans. So the Bulldogs loaded the buses and headed from the Lansing area southeast to the Downriver area on your way to Ohio. If anybody wants to go to, Ohio to try and prevent Trenton from making their first appearance in the state semis since 1988. This was another one. It was just this side of nuts. A back-and-forth battle. 40 seconds into the second quarter, Mason's Derek Badgley catches a pass from Kason Carswell, putting the Bulldogs ahead 7-0. Still in the second quarter, the Trojans bounce right back to tie. It's Ty Nordgren to the air. He'll click with Austin Toth here. This goes 56 yards for a score. They know how to celebrate there. The game was knotted at 7, though not for long. Just under 6 minutes to play in the half. Carswell finds Badgley again. He'll break free and find his way to the goal line. A 55-yard hookup. Mason led at that point, 14-7. Trenton responded. They had a 24-21 lead at the break, but then Mason took control. After a quick Bulldog touchdown to start the third, it's that tandem again. Carswell to Badgley again. What a night for that duet. This a 31-yard touchdown pass. Mason leads 35-24. They won it 49-30.
I am so proud of you guys. That was definitely a gut check the first half. Would you agree? Absolutely. You guys stepped up. Our defense was amazing the second half. Offense was amazing. Special teams. You answered the challenge, and you're going back to the semifinals, man. That's awesome stuff. That's great stuff. Back-to-back regional champs. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, they'll smile. They won't celebrate too much because there is work to be done. You look at the Division III scoreboard. It was DeWitt over Linden by a 29-16 final. There's the Mason win over Trenton. There's Martin Luther King's 10-point victory over Brother Rice. And then tomorrow afternoon, Muskegon will host Zeeland West.
All right, well, let's check out the Division III regions as they stand right now. So at the top of the bracket, regions 1 and 2, DeWitt is into the state semifinals. This seems like an annual tradition for that team. They will take on the winner of Muskegon Zeeland West, which is tomorrow. Muskegon, a team that very much has played their way this far into the playoffs. They look like one of the best teams in the state right now. The Zeeland West Ducks are going to give them all they can handle. Let's look at the bottom of the bracket. Mason into the state semifinals, and so is Martin Luther King, the defending champs, looking to play their way back into Ford Field, a place they are very familiar with.
Well, this is Football Friday's overtime, but the overtime show will have to go a long way to be better than what we saw during Football Fridays, because the game of the night, Clarkston hosting Rochester Adams, the second meeting of the season between these two teams. It was Rochester Adams coming in 10-1, Clarkston with that 9-2 record, this time playing at home. It went right down to the finish. Evan Stockton and Rob Rubik called it for you here on Bally Sports. Post-game reaction as we get you back to Clarkston now.
Back at Clarkston High School, the site of one of the finer football games you'll ever see. Evan, Rob, and Coach Pintar. Coach, congratulations. Your backup quarterback just threw a touchdown with a second to go to continue your football season. What in the world just happened?
I don't know. Unbelievable football game just happened. I mean, it doesn't get any more exciting, I don't think, than what it was tonight. And, I talked a little bit to someone before the game. Stevie, he didn't play his best football game, but he never really seems to be rattled. And even on that third down play where he tripped and fell, I mean, again, most kids at that point, they're just going to be done. They're going to be so rattled that they can't possibly make another play. And then he just gets up, spikes it, and then we throw an unbelievable pass to Dez, who had, talk about a kid who did it all tonight, and a great catch in the end zone. So I'm proud of our grit, our determination, the way we stuck with it the entire game. Never hung our heads, just kept battling, and, again, a heck of a football game.
Well, Coach kind of took my question away from him. I was saying is, Ethan Clark, tremendous game, over 200 yards again. Kozak comes in at quarterback, makes some big throws, but number 5 player of the game, in my opinion. 3 plays that totally turned the game in your favor.
That's what I said. I don't know if I've ever seen a kid catch a touchdown to win the game, throw a touchdown, run one back on a kick return. I mean, he did everything. And then defensively, he made plays on defense because he's just that kind of a player. So, I mean, talk about, you know, Coach Richardson used to say big players make big plays in big games. And, I mean, talk about a big player making big plays all game long.
You know, we talked to you during the course of the week, and you told me that, you know, this kid had a growth spurt. And you said he may not be an elite athlete, but he's a really good innate player with good instincts. We saw that on display tonight.
Yeah, he just knows how to play. I mean, even when he threw that pass, you could see him kind of setting it up and just letting it ride out. You know, again, a lot of kids in there would just kind of panic because it didn't develop right away, and he just let it develop and made the throw. He's got this football IQ that, you know, a lot of kids just don't have, especially at that age, and that's what makes him special.
Coach, last thing we got for you. Look, you're a coach. By this time tomorrow, you're diving into film on whoever the heck you're playing in the semis. But, again, Ethan Clark, guy who's maybe the best running back in the state of Michigan and Lord knows how long. But your other guys do it tonight. What did tonight's win say about the Clarkston football program?
Well, you know, I think, like you said, Clark's been kind of our workhorse all year, and obviously tonight he did a lot of running and, you know, grinding today. He didn't have the big runs that he has had the last few weeks, but the other guys tonight stepped up, and when we needed some stops defensively, I mean, we let up the one run there in the second half, but I thought for the most part our defense in the second half did a lot better job of kind of bottling them up and kind of keeping Pico from breaking the big runs. And then, you know, that 2-point stop again, I told those guys, I said, this is going to be what gives us the win here at the end of the game. And sure enough, we come down, and that was the difference, right? So defense 2 weeks in a row with 2-point conversion stops when we needed it. So I was just, you know, again, locking up when we needed to and never quitting. That's what I'm really proud of from all the guys, every one of those guys on the field tonight.
This is one of those games that makes you fall in love with sports all over again. A backup quarterback just threw a touchdown with 1 second left to give the Clarkston Wolves one more football game to play. Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck next week.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
Hello to the coaches at Caledonia and Grand Ledge who are watching with great interest tonight. So we've already hit Divisions 1 and 3. When we come back, we'll check in on both sides of the Division 2 bracket. Livonia Franklin looking to advance. Dexter was looking to advance. Highlights of both when the OT rolls on.
The matchup of the night brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers, Clarkston and Rochester Adams, like a heavyweight fight, and this one went to the final bell. Clarkston QB Steven Kozak finding receiver Desmond Stevens in the corner of the end zone. Wolves advance to the Division I semifinals. Natalie Kerwin caught up with the winners afterwards, but I think we've already heard from them. Let's see what else is happening tonight.
What a finish. What a finish tonight. 36-33, Clarkston. plays on. Well, last year was a tough one for the Birmingham Groves Falcons. They finished the season with only 2 wins, and of course there's no playoff for them when that happens. What a remarkable resurgence. This season they stormed back, winning 6 of the regular season games, plus 2 playoff games, and went looking for their second semifinal appearance since 2018. They traveled to Livonia Franklin, and they were looking to return to the semis for a second straight season. Let's get you to Franklin and pick this one up in the second. Birmingham on top 17-12, but Franklin in control of the ball. Cordell Maven's putting it in gear, making his way down the field for every bit of 60 yards. His second touchdown of the night. Livonia Franklin on top 18-17 at the half. To the third, Birmingham at the 50-yard line, and Josh Woods will stay on his feet and shove his way around the defense to break loose for his second touchdown of the night. Birmingham would stay on top after going for the extra 2, 25-18. In the fourth now, it's Woods again. He continues to have a day with a motor behind him. A 75-yard touchdown right into your living room. His third score of the night. That made it 32-18. Birmingham Groves with a victory over Livonia Franklin tonight.
Even though it is the playoffs, it's just like every other game. So I had the same mindset going into every game that I do my very best in order to win, because if I don't, nobody will. And that's just my mindset going into every game. The job's not finished, so we got to keep pushing, keep working, because we play the hardest matchup we've ever played in my high school career next week.
That is a great win for Groves. All right, the unbeaten Dexter Dreadnoughts made history last week, winning its first ever district championship. They continue to ride the legs of the Michigan commit and Mr. Football candidate Cole Cabana into the uncharted waters. They took on a former Division II state champion in Midland, the Chemics, trying to get to the semis for the first time since 2018. Midland riding a 9-game win streak with 4 wins, though, by 8 points or fewer. On paper, this seemed to be a fairly evenly matched ball game. Who would rise to the occasion?
We had 25 kids on the team, 0-9 season. The end of every game, got a pity clap. Remember that, Brent? Pity clap. Nobody believed. Here we are 5 years later. See signs all over the town, all over this community, all over school grounds saying, "We believe." You sure looked the part tonight, freshman. Okay? I believe in you. I believe in each and every one. I believe. Tear it up tonight. On 9, tear it up, have a freaking night. Leave it all on the field. Memories are going to be made tonight. Okay? Believe. Love you guys. Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Love the smiles.
They believe. The Midland Chemics only won 2 games a year ago. This year, though, back to the form, a team that had 45 wins since 2017. For Dexter, it's all momentum, a team that has defied expectations with big-time players consistently delivering in big ways. The dream continues. How about a 1-2 punch? Reeves Taylor to Cole Cabana. First offensive drive of the game, whopping 88-yard connection. Dexter took the early lead. More from the dynamic duo in the first quarter. Taylor dumps to the Michigan commit Cabana, slipping through the Midland defense. 49-yard touchdown. Dexter up 21-0 at the end of the first. All we've got are first half highlights because the Dreadnought domination relentless. Taylor finds his tight end Brendan Parachek. The Michigan State commit puts Dexter up 28-0. And how about Reeves Taylor, the captain of the ship? Short pass to Joey Tesmer, blockers in front, another 49-yard touchdown. Taylor's 4th passing touchdown of the half. The Dreadnought dream continues. They keep on dancing. Next stop, the Division II Final Four. They beat Midland 42-7 the final.
It's a huge win. It's just a really great momentum setter for the season, and it's just been a great experience. A really big-time win. Guys really stepped up, and it was a ton of fun.
It's crazy, like, we're in, what, Final 8 now? Now it's Final 4, yeah. So, like, to blow a team out like that, this close to the state championship, it shows how good this team is, and we got big things ahead of us, and we're not done yet.
Nobody told me there was going to be math.
In all fairness. No
moment,
math on Friday night.
No,
Absolutely. Well, let's see what else happened in Division II, because there was a lot going on. Grand Rapids Forest Hills Central continues to do what they've done this season, and that is win ball games. 21-17, they take down East Lansing. We saw it just a few minutes ago. Birmingham Groves, big upset over Livonia Franklin, 32-25 in a shootout. Dexter just continues to dominate. Midland was a good team this season. 42-7 was the final. And De La Salle, talk about good teams. Maybe the cream of the crop in Division II, 55-7, the defending champs all over Lance Cruz.
All right, let's peek at the brackets if we can now. There's the Grand Rapids Forest Hills Central win over East Lansing, and they'll meet Dexter in the next round. That is the top of the bracket, regions 1 and 2, and the bottom of the bracket. As it prints out there, you got Birmingham Groves with that very impressive win over Livonia Franklin, and they'll get Warren De La Salle. A big win for the Pilots tonight.
All right, guys, let's take a look now at the state champs Mr. Football race presented by our friends at Hungry Howie's Pizza. First thing you need to know, the voting ends Monday at noon. Dexter's Cole Cabana has the lead. He'll have an automatic bid into the Final Four if it stays that way. 6 of our final 10 were still playing football tonight. 2 went head-to-head, as you witnessed on Bally Sports Detroit. Ethan Clark versus Parker Pico. Clark gets the better of that one, meaning his team is moving on. De La Salle's Brady Drogosh, they're moving on. Caledonia's Mason McKenzie has to win tomorrow. The defending champ, Dante Moore, got it done tonight. So lots of things going on with our candidates. Only 3 of those guys are going to go to get into the Final Four. It's important you vote if you want your candidate considered. We have a tried and true criteria, but we look at the vote. Go to statechampsnetwork.com and weigh in.
What kind of reaction have you received? How furious have the votes been coming in as we've gotten into the playoff season now?
When it comes to Mr. Football, we are into the 50,000 level, especially from the Cole Cabana camp. It's crazy. Samaj Morgan's group not far behind him, but just pretty good votes all the way around. The fans are engaged, especially as their team advances in the playoffs.
Yeah, and based on the games that they saw tonight, probably further engaged as we head in the direction of Ford Field. We'll head to Division 4 here next. Orchard Lake St. Mary's was looking to advance to the semis after a three-win regular season. And could Riverview stay undefeated with a win over Dearborn Divine Child? Highlights of those and more when the OT rolls on.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is brought to you by Legacy Football, the #1 football development program in Michigan, and by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Well, as we make our way to Division 4, not many people gave Orchard Lake St. Mary's much of a shot heading into the playoffs. Just a 3-5 record, but impressive wins over Croswell Lexington and Madison Heights Lamphere. Here they were. They took on a Goodrich team tonight that has won 10 straight. And last week, a heart-stopper versus Freeland as they blocked a punt in the closing moments, recovered with just enough time to try a 23-yard field goal, and they hit it, winning 10-7. So the Martians welcoming in the Eaglets of Orchard Lake St. Mary's, who traveled 30-some miles north to try and advance to their first state semifinal since 2016, which also happened to be the last time that they won a state championship. These two have never met on the gridiron before tonight. Goodrich has never won a regional championship. It's been a minute for Orchard Lake St. Mary's. This will be their first ever in Division IV. Getting things started just under 6 minutes to play in the first. Goodrich junior Easton Phipps catches a pass from quarterback Gavin Hart, easily finds his way into the end zone. Goodrich leads 7-0. Jumping to the second quarter, Martians add to their lead. Gavin Hart scrambling, finds an open receiver. And look at this, sophomore Max Macklin, the one-handed grab and the continuation into the end zone for the touchdown. Goodrich ahead 14-0. Orchard Lake St. Mary's returning the favor. Senior correct Braden Layden finds senior Anthony Kafolis on this quick pass. The Goodrich lead was cut to 14-6, but all Goodrich from that point on. Sealed it on this one. The senior Caden Kolinkowski. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Houston, we have a problem. A 98-yard punt return that gave the Martians the 40-20 win. We have achieved first contact.
Oh, it means everything. You know, this is what we've been working for our whole life. Best defense in the state. Offense got it going, 40 points. It feels great, amazing. We proved that everything we worked for is coming true. And, you know, we just got to stick to what we believe and keep working it.
All right, one can consider it spoiled by success, but that success is hard-earned, and it's never assumed. The regular season has been kind to the Riverview Pirates over the past few years. They've only lost 4 games in the past 5 seasons, and they haven't lost in each of the last 3. In those 5 seasons, though, this is the first time they have advanced to the regional final. They welcomed in a Dearborn Divine Child team who is having its best season in 5 November since 2017. Unfortunately, that season ended with a loss in the regional final to Riverview. Would it be a case of deja vu or revenge for Divine Child tonight? Here we go. Riverview welcomes Divine Child. Riverview in the dark maroon, a great fake to the right, then the play to the left. Lucas Thompson carried it, and the Pirates led 7-0. Jacob Shank doubled that lead. He's racing right at you and found nothing but artificial turf. Riverview up 38-21 at halftime. Divine Child, though, made it interesting. A quarterback keeper here, that slashed the lead to 38-34. But Shank decided to make it uninteresting. You have to find the ball carrier. Great stutter step. He's gone. That sealed the deal. Riverview moves on. DC moves home. 45-35, the final.
It feels great, you know. I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy. There's some big boys out there. The linemen, you know, put up a fight. Their DBs, everything on their team put up a good fight. But it feels great to win, you know. This is my first time making it this far, and it's always been my dream to go to states. But next game is what we're going to focus on.
Yeah, they got one more win to get to state. A semifinal is next, and there you see the scores in Division IV tonight. It was Grand Rapids South Christian finding their way past Whitehall tonight. Lauren just had the highlights from Goodrich's win over Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Edwardsburg advances. They had a 10-point win over Hastings tonight, and it was Riverview by 10 as well over Divine Child.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the Division IV brackets. Up at the top of the bracket, Grand Rapids South Christian, who I predict will win the state championship in the semifinals. They'll be taking on a familiar foe, Edwardsburg. The Eddies always seems like they're making a run to Ford Field. Taking a look at the bottom of the bracket, you have got Goodrich into the semifinals for the first time ever. They're taking on Riverview. I believe this is their first semifinals appearance. If it hasn't, it's been a while. Both teams with a lot to play for, and what great seasons by both of those programs. And I expect a phenomenal game next week.
Riverview is 12-0. I mean, in a coach's dream, you plot out a season, you get to 12-0, and you're going to play for a state semifinal. That's as much fun as a coach and as the coach's players can have.
And this has been building for years now. They are a team that just couldn't quite get over that hump. Now that they've got there, we're going to see what happens.
All right, more of the OT as we continue. We've hit the top 4 divisions so far. When we come back, we'll head to Divisions 5 through 8. Can anybody stop Grand Rapids West Catholic in Division 6? And is this finally Frankenmuth's year to take Division 5? Highlights of those regional championships and so much more when the OT continues.
Well, in case you haven't been paying attention to Lansing Catholic over the last several years, this is a team that are not only the defending champs in Division 6, they were the D5 state champs in 2019 and semifinalists in 2020, but 5 losses this season, so tonight they had to jump on I-96 to face a Grand Rapids West Catholic team that came in 10-1 and their best record since winning the Division 5 state championship back in 2017. Something had to give. So Lansing Catholic shut out over to Elsie a week ago. West Catholic dropped 50 on Constantine. Here we go. Both teams held scoreless until 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter. West Catholic's Tim Kloska stiff arms a defender, bulldozes his way into the end zone, wipes his hands clean after a job well done. Low-scoring affair in this one. Lansing Catholic would go on with a designated QB run that gets blown up immediately. This one went into halftime with only 1 score to this point. West Catholic would receive the ball to start the half as junior Nolan Reinhardt would initially misplay the ball, but cool as the other side of the pillow. The special teams unit having his back, perfectly placed blocks. Reinhardt breaking a tackle. I can't even talk. 86 yards to La Casa, 14-0 lead. West Catholic would continue to find success in the second half. Clarkston lining up at QB, taking this one in for the second score of the day, up the gut 21-0. And it was only a matter of time before the defense would get in on the fun. This pass from Jack Jacobs, picked off by Ryer Snow, completing the offense, defense, and special teams trifecta of scoring. West Catholic with this one, an 80-yard to the crib, dominating Lansing Catholic 37-7. The final in this one. So we are going to make our way to what else took place in Division 6 after that dominating win. So, well, that score is actually not accurate there. But Warren, Michigan, Clinton beating Warren, Michigan Collegiate 31.
Yeah, West Catholic
won that one, but I'm sure Lansing Catholic faithful are loving that you just put. Yeah, we're moving on. There's also stuff happening on Saturday tomorrow.
All right, so we'll take a look at the brackets in Division 6, and you see there are those 2 games have matchups tomorrow. So they're waiting the matchups to be more determined going into the state semifinal. But we know this. There you see it's official.
It's official.
West Catholic advancing to the state semifinal. They will meet Clinton as Clinton got past Warren, Michigan Collegiate earlier tonight.
Good win for Clinton.
It's a standard in Frankenmuth as the fried chicken, a frosty stein of something, and someone playing the accordion. This is the 12th straight season the Frankenmuth Eagles have reached the postseason, and in those 12 years, this is the 6th time they have reached the regional final. Tonight, they hosted a Flint-Hamady team that was looking for its first regional title ever. Trying to do something that no team in school history had ever imagined. It's never a bad time to take a trip to Frankenmuth, but at this time of year, things are certainly kicked up a notch around there. You can bet that Flint-Hamady had a pretty festive ride in tonight to take on the Eagles, but how would the ride home be? Just a perfect November evening, mid-40s in the place known as Little Bavaria. We'll pick it up at 7-0 Eagles when senior Sam Barger would take the reverse and follow his blockers into the end zone to push the lead up to 14-0. And the separation continued from there. It opened to a 21-point gap here. Aiden Horde found Griffin Barker on the screen pass. Barker will take it in for the score from 22 yards away. Barker had himself a night. Watch him break a few tackles here on his way to a 13-yard touchdown, stretching the lead to 35-0. Frankenmuth is moving on with a final score 49-7 tonight. So the scores in Division 5, there you see Grand Rapids Catholic Central big, 42-19 over Portland. It was Country Day big over Flat Rock, 44-7. There's the Frankenmuth big win, and tomorrow afternoon it'll be Muskegon Oak Ridge hosting Gladwin at 2 o'clock.
So let's see how the Final Fours are shaping up in Division 5. So we've got a game we're waiting on tomorrow between Gladwin and Muskegon Oak Ridge, but Grand Rapids Catholic Central certainly the flavor in D5 and the favorites to win it all. But we've got to play the games at the bottom of the bracket. Let's see who will get the opportunity to head to Ford Field next week. It's Frankenmuth and Detroit Country Day. Detroit Country Day, usually a D4 team, have had a lot of success there, but they are playing here in Division 5 for a chance to win it all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That leaves us with only 2 divisions left. We'll hit them both next. We'll pay a visit to Jackson Lumen Christi in Division 7 and to Clarkston Everest in Division 8 when Football Fridays OT, powered by State Champs, rolls on. Hit us, Coach. Detroit. We continue. We find ourselves to Division 7. The Lawton Blue Devils took I-94 East into Jackson tonight to take out a Lumen Christi team that started the season with 3 straight losses but haven't lost a game since. Titans were also looking to claim their 6th regional title in the last 8 years. And who doesn't love a drive on I-94 right now that they say would be about an hour and 15 minutes. Second quarter, both teams looking for their first chance on the scoreboard. Lawton at the 15-yard line. Junior running back Caleb Mallory would sneak up the middle to get into the end zone, giving Lawton a 6-0 lead. But this was crucial. The point after attempt was blocked, and that turned out to be the game because Lumen Christi scored the only touchdown the rest of the way on a terrific quarterback keeper by Joe Lathers all the way from midfield to the house. Wow. They would convert on the point after touchdown amid all the wild ones tonight. There was this. Lumen Christi advances to the state semis by virtue of their 7-6 win over Lawton. So there you see the Division 7 scores. It was New Lothrop by 9 in their win over Elkton Pigeon Bay. Napoleon by 7 over Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. A 1-point squeaker for Lumen Christi, and they advanced. And Ithaca will play against Traverse City St. Francis tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock in TC. So we can check the brackets now in Division 7. There's the St. Francis win. They'll get Ithaca next. New Lothrop will meet, await the winner, of the Traverse City St. Francis Ithaca game. And in the other bracket, it is Lawton losing to Jackson Lumen Christi. So Lumen Christi advances, and they will get Napoleon in the state semifinals for the right to go to Ford Field.
All right, well, last and definitely not least, we hit a matchup in Division 8. Sterling Heights Parkway Christian began the season with just one win in its first 6 games. They finished the regular season 4-5 and were the last team to get into the Division 8 playoffs. They've won 5 in a row. District champs. Go figure. Now, the Clarkston Wolves were not the only team representing the home of Pine Knob tonight. The Clarkston Everest Collegiate Mountaineers were competing for regional hardware for the 3rd straight season. Now, it's been a Cinderella season for Parkway. Make no bones about it. Facing an Everest Collegiate team scored 160 points in its last 3 games. The clock would strike midnight on this one early as Everest would run away with this game from the get-go. After allowing an early score to Parkway, Everest would score on this pitch to Thomas Powry, the 3rd, shortly before the end of the second half, and they would finish the game with a final score of 30-6. They're moving on. So let's go ahead and find out what else was happening on the Division 8 side of things. Ottawa Lake Whiteford, the team I have predicted who will win Division 8 this season, takes care of White Pigeon. I always have to get that.
I know you do.
38-26. My teams are still alive. And Clarkson Everest with a big win. 2 big games tomorrow, Ubley and Fowler, and Iron Mountain and Ever will get going.
You either make people happy or you make people angry by your predictions. It shows you who you are rooting for.
I know.
All right, it's Iron Mountain and Everett tomorrow for the right to get to a semifinal. It's Fowler against Ubley tomorrow for the right to get to a semifinal. And there you see the 2 teams that have. It's Whiteford against Clarkston Everest Collegiate in one half of the bracket and in the other semifinal. What a night it has been. It started here on Bally Sports with a sensational finish between Clarkston and Rochester Adams. In the final seconds, a touchdown pass to lift Clarkston to the 36-33 win.
And to be honest, I don't really root for any of those teams. I make predictions.
No,
and then
we
we
know
just
that.
See if
We
they
know
happen.
that.
So I love all the teams out there, you know it, and especially at this time of year, everyone who has got their way into a Final Four, make no mistake, you have had an incredibly successful season.
All right, we've got more ahead as the OT show continues on a Friday night here on Bally Sports. We'll wrap things up. We'll look ahead a little bit further, and we'll continue the celebration that began in Clarkston and all around the great state of Michigan. It's the OT on Bally Sports on a Friday night.
All right, let's take some time now for an update in the State Champs Anvil Award competition presented again by Hungry Howie's Pizza. This award rewards those who enjoy a pizza pie or two at a single sitting, the men who live in the trenches, the linemen, plus linebackers too. They love pizza. So like the Mr. Football Award, 6 candidates were still alive heading into regionals. 2 from Clarkston in the Michigan State commit Cole Dellinger and another D1 recruit, Kavanaugh Ditton. They're still alive. Dearborn Divine Child's Dylan Senda's season ended tonight at Riverview. He's got nearly 9,000 votes, still a couple grand behind Ditton. Now Castex Michigan State commit Jalen Thompson and also state commit Detroit Catholic Central's Braden Corser were hanging in, as the Illinois-bound Mason Moragan is also still in the competition. Voting ends Monday at noon, so do it now at statechampsnetwork.com.
All right, who is the one kid or what was the one moment that provided a game changer for a team that needed a change tonight? We'll share that choice next and look forward to next weekend and wrap things up in this one when the OT continues in a minute. Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, brought to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. And by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. A pass from Stephen Kozak to Desmond Stevens, lifting Clarkston to a 36-33 win here on Bally Sports. Now, though, another game changer of the night, the DMC game changer of the night. Dexter senior quarterback Reeves Taylor, the star of the show in this matchup versus Midland. He would connect for 4 touchdowns in the air in the first half alone and would finish with 5 for the night and 300 yards passing. The Dreadnoughts advancing to the Division II semifinals.
Extremely impressive.
Indeed. Yeah.
And, you know, we have not talked enough about Reeves Taylor this season. You know, Cole Cabana has kind of absorbed and Parachek have absorbed all the oxygen in the room when it comes to what the Dreadnoughts have done. But make no bones, and I know I say that a lot, but he has been a real difference maker for Dexter.
Man, we can see Thanksgiving from here, can't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can. And I want to say that this has been an amazing journey. It's been a lot of fun doing the overtime this season. We've done a lot of shows together, and I've had a chance to experience some other, other talent here at Bally Sports Detroit, and it's been wonderful. And everyone at State Champs really appreciates everything and the
it's been great fun. Yeah, it's been great fun, and it gets us to our roots here in the state of Michigan, how important high school football is to the very fabric of sports fandom in the state. And Bally Sports Detroit is once again your home for the MHSAA football finals. It's a tradition. Thanksgiving weekend, 8 state champions are crowned. The even numbers on Friday, Division 8, then 2, then 6, and 4. Division 7, 1, 5, and 3 playing on Saturday. All games will appear on Bally Sports Detroit, Bally Sports Detroit Extra, and on the Bally Sports app. So here is our plan for next week for you here on Bally Sports. Cass Tech will meet the winner of tomorrow's game between Catholic Central and Belleville. That's going to be a 7 p.m. start on Bally Sports and on the Bally Sports app. By the end of tomorrow, we'll have 4 teams in each division. They can see the trophy from here. Lifting it will require some work between now and then, however. Another stellar night of high school football in the great state of Michigan on a November Friday night. For Evan and Rubes and Natalie and Lauren and all of us at Bally Sports, I'm John Keating. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.